Casey.
All right, we're recording.
Okay, it is 6 o'clock. Mr. Fry, would you like to give us the Zoom instructions, please?
I will, Madam Supervisor. Our Zoom instructions tonight are: number one, please say your name before speaking and before making a motion. 2, board members are required to state their location during roll call. Please mute yourself when you're not speaking. That's *6 if you're on the phone. Do not click unknown links that may be shared in the Zoom chat. We do not disseminate information with this function. This meeting is recorded. Please be respectful of those speaking. Do not interrupt. If anyone is disruptive to the point of preventing the township board from conducting business, you will get one warning before being removed from the meeting. If there is a problem with Zoom, the meeting will be reset utilizing the same meeting information. If the meeting is unable to continue, a notice will be issued on the township Facebook page and website. Reminder to board and commission members that emailing or texting is not allowed during a public meeting. Please be patient as we're all learning the system and will attempt to be as deliberate as possible and get through this as a team.
Thank you. I will go ahead and call this meeting to order and call the roll. Aldrich,
Here, Saugatuck Township, Allegan County.
Bigford,
Here, Saugatuck Township, Allegan County.
Helmrich,
Here, Saugatuck Township, Allegan County.
Marcy,
Here, Saugatuck Township, Allegan County.
Osmond, Saugatuck Township, Allegan County. We have a quorum. Approval of agenda. Did everybody get a chance to review the agenda?
Yes.
I'll take a motion, please.
This is Bigford. I will move to approve the agenda as presented.
Is there support?
This is Marcy. I'll support.
Any more discussion? I will call the roll. Bigford,
Yes?
Marcy,
Yes.
Helmrich,
Yes,
Aldrich,
Yes.
Osmond, yes, motion carries. Let's move on to public comments. If there are members or there are anyone that would like to make any public comments to the board, please respect the 3-minute time limit or 5 minutes if you're speaking on behalf of a group. We will recognize you if you raise your hand or get our attention by unmuting. This is really not a question and answer time. It's just an opportunity for you to present your comments to the board. So is there anybody from the public that would like to be heard today? I'm not seeing anybody. Mr. Fry, do you see anyone?
I don't see anybody raising their hand.
Okay, this is the final call for public comment. If somebody would like to be heard, please raise your hand or unmute yourself and make yourself known, and we will recognize you and you will have the floor for 3 minutes. I guess we have no public comments this evening. Let's move on to the consent agenda. Did everybody have a chance to look at the consent agenda?
Yes.
You had a chance to see it. Did you want, is there anybody who wanted anything removed from the consent agenda? I'm not hearing it. So I guess we're ready to hear a motion regarding the consent agenda.
This is Aldrich. I move to approve the consent agenda.
Support?
This is Marcy. I'll support.
Any further discussion about the consent agenda?
this is Helmrich. I just wanted to point out in the packet, there's a second page where the tax disbursements were added to the consent agenda, which I think is a good idea. So just to make sure you know that you're also voting on the tax disbursements.
Thank you for pointing that out. I appreciate it. Any other further comments? If not, I'll go ahead and call the roll. Marcy,
Yes.
Aldrich,
Yes.
Bigford,
Yes?
Helmrich,
Yes,
and Osmond, yes, motion carries. So we can move on to, I've got too many papers here. Unfinished business, the ORV resolution that we were requested to act on to support a resolution for countywide ORV ordinance. And from our previous discussions, I recall that there was not really any support from any of our board members because we hadn't heard from any of the residents. John, would you like to comment on that? Oh, Bigford, go ahead.
Yes, and I know John asked to have this put on the agenda, and I also wanted it on the agenda. I think in one of our past packets, it was included from the people that are trying to get this passed countywide. There was a map and it showed other counties, and a couple of townships, especially on the lakeshore, didn't have, they denied it. So it's pretty common for 90% of the county to support it, and just a couple, it just isn't a good fit. So I think that's kind of what's appropriate for us as well.
I would advocate the same, Abby. Our township is too diverse to have it.
Yeah, and I'll just concur because we put it on because we've had speakers from outside the county, bring this to our attention, and we hadn't taken any action. And again, I think it's inappropriate for our township.
And we just owe them an answer to say, no, we're not going to support it.
Exactly.
Right.
I prefer not to support it myself, Aldrich. So do we make a motion not to support it? Is that-
Yes, exactly. Not to support the resolution that's attached.
Okay. Should I do that now or?
Sure.
This is Aldrich. I'd like to make a motion to not support the ORV ordinance at this time. Or ever. I don't know. Not to support the ORV ordinance.
Is there any support?
This is Marcy, I'll support.
Is there any further discussion? Okay, I'll call the roll. Aldrich,
Yes.
Marcy,
Yes.
Osmond, yes. Helmrich,
Yes.
and Bigford.
Yes.
Motion carries. I will make that contact and let the person who's been supporting it know that we're not going to support we're not going to adopt the resolution supporting the countywide ordinance. So, other old business, historic district.
I'll speak to this because I asked this to be on the agenda. Again, this was an item that had come up the last 2 or 3 meetings in terms of public comment and input, and we had not taken any action. So what I would like to share with you is, since last month, Manager Fry and I have spoken about this, and I reached out to, you might remember back in, I think, November or December, we did receive 2 written correspondences relative to a potential historic district around the Kalamazoo River mouth. One was from Mark Rodman. He is the executive director of the Michigan Historic Preservation Network. The other communication that we received was from, I believe it's Jamie Lokinger, who works with John Edens, who is the executive director of the Advisory Council on Historic Preservation, which is a federal agency in Washington. They both reached out, and in terms of what is pending before the Army Corps of Engineers, they both wrote in support of a potential historic district, and both said they'd be willing to advise us if we were to pursue that. And I think what we're recommending tonight is perhaps, last month we said, let's put it on Mr. Fry's lap, which it would be a big thing to put it on his lap. So I think we're both suggesting that we actually send this to the planning commission and the zoning administrator to investigate and report back to us, not both on if we think this is appropriate, what the process is, and what would need to happen. So that's what I'm suggesting tonight, if there's any questions.
And that way, just to add on to what John mentioned, that once the planning commission comes back with these are the steps and this is what it's going to take, then the township board can give the blessing to, yes, start that process so that you have something in front of you down the line. But if that seems like a project that you're not going to support, it makes it nice and clear before a lot of effort's put in to something that isn't supported.
I think that, at least from what I'm hearing, it's something that we do want to support, but it's not at the top of our priority list. And we do have to keep our priorities focused. I know the planning commission is busy with a lot of other things they're working on. What do you think, John?
Now that the special committees, in terms of who will participate and working on information that Joe's been very active with, that this would be very appropriate for
Oh,
committee. Plus, it's not their top priority. Thanks for sharing. These two very learned that I just mentioned, that that group form a.
well, as the board liaison too, well received, and I would.
Has her hand up.
When we first talked about this, includes pros and cons, and it's a applicable, think of right away is the town I pretty much grew a window or a piece of science until you had the original material of historical society without making the whole information.
Brenda, to that point, I mean, I think that's a historical district, basically affects residential and home. This is more of a natural one. We got these in our packets, but I'm going to say MHPN and the ACH. I think it would be good to review them again and see. We'll be sharing with the zoning administrator.
Discussion on this topic, Abby?
Have we contacted our administrator Wells and asked her if this is something?
I've had conversations with her, yes.
So I did notify Renee Wells, our zoning administrator, that this was before the board. And so how the process would work is if the township board sees this as a priority, they would then request the planning commission start looking at it, which could possibly be in the subcommittee that they have created. So that can be the vehicle of where they do the work. And like Brenda mentioned, they could be simply tasked with looking at pros and cons and see if it would be overall a good fit. And then a presentation would come back to the township board to decide whether or not to request the planning commission to fully start moving forward with what next steps that you're required to take. And so there's not a whole lot of future development with
To take and to,
I believe request that the planning commission, and that can be your motion, planning commission know that this is a
make a motion?
Yes, thank you. The township to invest have been made to potentially historic preservation districts, Kalamazoo River, appropriately, and possibly a recommendation.
This is Aldrich. I'll support.
Motion and support. Is there any? Hearing none, I'll call the Aldrich. Marcy,
Yes.
motion carries. Business. We have an update from Ms. Lewis. If you go ahead, I will give you the floor.
Thank you so much. Garnet Lewis, member of the City Council Cycling Committee. I've been in the last year, I think. You're actually the first. I apologize for sending you my, I actually was laying there. So my apologies. So anyway, I hope I'm not, a lot of it is for since last April, quite busy. And actually, I think Daniel DeFranco, I didn't see Laura, but she might pop in. And I let them know that. So the group started last April, and by September, we across the 3 communities and collected. And that's what concerns they had, what they heart is in the right spot. They improve and increase recycling. So a couple of the things that we have done, the issue with the yellow bags, especially specifically in the township, we were able to address quite quickly and his help with interact with Jack. He was the gentleman who was in his role, breath of fresh air. That's probably this being dealt with to the best of the committee then with the results before, and just others of us are really we have our hearts in the right space. So the committee fact basics program, properly prepare material to be set. The other thing along those lines, Facebook page was developed as fun. It's a page. If you haven't, has been absolutely wonderful. And every second week, we, from all the feedback, we continue that so long as we have. Also wanted to provide now in the works, and we'll be coming down the pike. Yost and Kelly Roche, the middle school, and pre-composting work process, post. And then lastly, kind of talk to you tonight, the general residents and businesses were hazardous waste day are basically do this in some kind of a last April. Basically, I wrote here, increasing our resident awareness of recycling as to how to dispose of recyclable and do not yet have a mechanism to collect hazardous waste. So visiting with to fall the previous 2 times that I visited, no cost and I have held to that. And for the first time, the committee needs some help in order to tried to as best as possible kind of describe. Had a contract with Alling Center back behind the DPW in 2008. Now people say to me, "Oh yeah, that continued," and I go back and it's almost. So it's since that time, the city of Saugatuck has not where neither the township nor the city. What that does is from being able to household hazardous waste without a contract, we can't. And at the recycling sector, you basically get a card. That one. So there's like 5 the county starting the 1st of May because we don't have a contract with things. Like I said, I think there's not a challenge, and this helped top of a moved across our 3 communities. And as I explained I've learned as if you don't ask, they can't tell you no. Already stepped up and provide. This is a matching. Yeah, very. With one of the new of Rotary International. So it's right in line with that. This will be to match that 5,000. So we're looking at all of my research with drug and lab disposal out of to $15,000 to household hazardous needs of our constituents after for so long. It's a whole lot you not need to worry about unless you really want other 5, then able to do something really, really for our constituents. I'm asking for a little bit of help this waste day. The fire department has to host it. We will on to Blue Star on some financial help on this. This is what we're looking at. And I'll open up for questions. I'm sorry. I really need help with this one-off about now. I think at least the last one paper mechanism, all of our constituents and direct page, the municipality webpage time, because we still have a number of concrete item in there here. So in order for it would cost us to, then the battery recycling is what initiated, because I have people who have bucked until they have an opportunity to get rid of us having these battery buckets, filling it within a day. So we'll be able to collect, we could have a battery collection municipality office service for our constituents on a regular subscription services through, get you more information on that. And once we get back to use right now with COVID, we can't, as we know, plastic does not, and it stays in our landfill to do what we can to issuance. And this would really be, I just need the funding up front to help kind of pay for that. So that's it. I've summarized it there for you, the township. And then lastly, I think it's probably time for you all to tackle the single hauler contract per month, and to also in a month surcharge to cover Al from Laketown Township with Republic Services, everybody. And it all of us to use, honestly, cities in negotiate. So with that, I'll stop. So.
Stacy?
I just great job with this. It's a long time coming, and I'm, help you anyway with waste. Is that electronic things like that?
I'm sorry. This is the one thing I posted it to that Facebook page. I will tell you. So, folks who run their household talk with her on Friday. And she was really good at kind of helping me logistically set this up. And she said, "Hey, Garn," she said, and you don't want to collect that, but please done.
Okay.
So for drive in with my little Beetle batteries is my TV screen. The staff from drug and lab disposal take it to their trailer and separate it out of your car. You don't
Oh.
touch anything. Yes, that I asked for 10 TV, which I don't know about you, TV monitor or $10
Yeah.
because that's a lot anywhere close will even take. She's like, people will be happy to get that. So I will try to Joe and Cindy stay items. Pretty much. I mean,
Yeah.
I have visions of people driving up in a pickup. Like, oh my God. So Kate said, she goes, go ahead, Joe. Sorry.
I'm sorry, before, and
Mhm.
the one thing they don't take, which is not considered hazardous, thinners, solvents and hazardous. So you can take all extra, doesn't have to be whatever you want, tires or screens, you include that in your contract. If
Mhm.
dollars was 5,000 from each community overall contract.
No, looking for from each community. Do you
Yeah,
all?
Yeah,
Yeah,
each municipality.
The three could each pops in 1250. So I'm good to go.
Verification.
Yeah, it's on the last wherever it is.
Okay.
There it
I
is.
didn't, but.
Oh, did I thought I
Email that?
yes, I did. My
Oh.
bad.
Oh,
All right.
Abby was first.
Go for it, Abby.
And all of the committee members, I can't imagine the amount of work that's search and planning. I did have a question about the drug recycling, like with the e-waste. Answer that. Dollar amount, just you being really conscientious of cost. Well, I would support us.
John?
Yeah, hi. Yeah, and again, I mean, this committee's done in time and it's much to the cost, because this morning, I know the hazardous waste, but all total of 2,175 from the battery collection and the mailer, correct?
Awesome. Absolutely.
I see that. No,
Is my
good.
math correct?
Oh, I assumed it was. Yeah, because hazardous waste, we still get inquiries. The township did collect batteries. I forget how many years it's been, but I know it's like a hazardous waste collection in the DeMonts parking lot. I used to do still in the township, do twice a year, and non-hazardous waste. Appreciate it. But I think this way. I want to go back though to if I may.
Oh, good gravy. Okay, you're still.
I'm
okay.
confused. I've been since 2004. Great conversation with Jack Brown. We haven't had someone like him. I got to know him originally when I was considered. He's a great guy, but he told me no more yellow bags in the township. The blue recycle bin, pay 30. Happy to do it. And there are still yellow bags distributed.
Hope not.
Oh,
I mean,
okay,
this
then
is,
I guess I just
I'm always afraid to say definitive that, then they'll show up somewhere.
read it as some people are still getting yellow.
No. And Jack's been absolutely wonderful.
No,
So,
he's I had a question, and I appreciate that you guys, the Laketown Township agreement with, I was just curious, I know it was dated, and there's a chart in the back on what they will recycle. Includes plastic grocery bags. Changed in Laketown or
I don't know. I know that, I think it's like Meyer or.
Oh, I know. Republic or Chef, because I just that to take them stopped during COVID. I wish there were more that took them because they use them, but they still pile up.
The thing I wanted to add about that contract, which so Barry John from Laketown Township, and he's just great. They added that $1 surcharge for household has specific waste day, and they wanted only to have that'll be enough for one day. Well, Republic recently came back and said, you have this money, so they're going to do 2 June and 1 in November. I'm like, oh, that's for me, that is why the committee would love to get routine part of our year, the whole days a year, and it's funded and raising money and that our residents would be phenomenal.
This is great work. Great suggestions.
Are you getting a new member on your committee? This or
I think it's
or is it already done? Oh, okay. I'm
No, it's
sorry.
another
It's later. Okay, never mind.
Then can you just on adding a 4th member from each?
Yeah, you have your 3 representatives on this. I'm kind of, we started, was it 3 for each municipality, having people pop in. We met, there were regular attendees in the city of Saugatuck. I'm like, why don't you just begin rather than just having, more than anybody else, like list. So, and Lori she's been attending already too. I appreciate if you approve her being on this committee.
You're on a committee. You're very brave.
This is a good group. I mean, yeah, I mean, their hearts, everybody's, so that's really for what we're doing. So,
All comes together, and they're, congratulations.
yeah. Well, I appreciate everybody.
So do we, or is that how we do it, or?
Comment to that,
Oh,
Stacy. All of us have had a chance to a very good report and very didn't see it. So I'd like to have a chance to formal action at our next meeting with the to let Garnet know. We just need to do it. Have any comments on that?
Can wait.
Probably rather not wait, but government kind of most of the time, but
Yeah.
chance to look at the report. I don't know, did you?
No, I was just gonna mention, I just looked email and I don't see it.
Morning,
Thank you.
everybody.
All right.
Can I just thank both, Lori, thank you. There's still some, and Daniel, thank you for all your work. I know you've done so much and such wonderful.
It really is amazing.
With all the constraints with the COVID and us, and I appreciate we have you on as another agenda item.
I'll stick around.
Thank you so much. I'm going to hop off onto another. All right. Bye-bye.
Is the stock, which is multi-page, can be here to follow up on the report that tells there. I don't know if Stacy has anything she wants to add to that.
No, not really. It's kind of look through it. It's kind of usually what I report.
Yeah, to take any action on that item to Lori with the ad hoc committee add a fourth. So I don't see anything holding us pointing, Lori.
Speak to this.
Yeah, why don't you talk?
I heard the conversation, Garnet and Daniel and I got really excited because I think this is really three communities to work together on this, negotiating anything. As it brought me on is the whole, I spoke to that either at that time, but I think we're action where we need to take food waste from and do something about it to help against, but for other very good, now's the time to just start this, talking about trying to do a group buy containers and things like that, and then working out where that loop is closed. And got me and has me wanting to be on the kind of see that through and see, of course, anywhere else that they're needing, a bit of a greeniac. So can help closely move us in a positive direction in that retention.
I think Mr. Fry is make a motion to amend our resolution to include a fourth member.
There's on this, I did look at this. So memo would just simply be a motion onto the committee.
I'd like to make that motion.
Yeah, tell them. I'd like to move that the town's recommendation of the Tri-Community Recycling Act to appoint a fourth member from Dennis, and that such appointment Tri-Community Recycling Committee.
Is there support? Discussion? Call the roll. Helmrich?
Gabby's
Sorry.
For all of her work and dedication through parks or helping with or just being a regular. I just really appreciate all of your.
I do too. And she picked.
My pleasure.
She didn't pull a car out.
I didn't. Yeah.
I don't think, did you?
No.
Okay, Helmrich?
Yes, again.
Osmond, yes. Bigford? Aldrich?
Yes.
We will move on. We're here. For Carol Bomba, who understands she's helping out on Thursdays yet, and read her proclamation into the record. Number 210226, proclamation of appreciation. Entirely devoted her time and impact on our community to place concerns with the leaders, businesses, and of area residents. Created in many practical ways in the surrounding area. That I, Cindy Osmond, supervisor on behalf of the Saugatuck Township Board, citizens of Saugatuck Township, for representing the township integrity and professionalism, and we extend to her our sincerest wishes for. And that does not. there any comments?
She's been a wonderful employee. You just don't see that. Yeah, we'll miss her, but the next chapter of her life. So,
Thank you, Stacy. Anybody else? The residents, absolutely.
mhm,
They will miss her more than we will.
mhm.
Can I say something, Cindy?
Yes, Brenda?
She was always so positive. I mean, I don't work there a lot, but she just I don't get snarky with anyone like that. She's an amazing person. And 44 years, I was only 2 when she started. Sorry, I digress.
Hey. Well, I'll just add, I mean, several of us spoke last Friday or 2 Fridays ago at her farewell send off. But I think what I'll most miss is, she was good with the occasional swear word in the office, which we appreciated. Of us would do that, but it was okay coming from Carol.
Away with it.
Yeah, she did. And it was never pointed out. It was always about her.
And but I just wanted to thank him again for that front.
It was great coverage,
Yep.
Scott.
I
Thank you.
think
I've loved Carol for years. She's for your tribute to her.
Before we move on to our river. Okay, the Riverside community that has a private distribution system for that's on the corner-ish street or Riverside Drive, I don't know which one, street by Arrowhead. This park is changing ownership. Eagle is not responsible for this private and water treatment system. I don't know, I'll let Joel, if I left anything out.
Just to add on, it's just a formality, anything new. It's just the legal ownership process for Eagle. So for years and after this, it'll keep going. Just a
Yes,
while.
we're not, it's not township to doing anything. It's just saying, no, that.
Yeah, Tom, I just wanted to point out, we have in the township, the Johnson facility on Bluestone on the Kalamazoo River. And yes, it did change. And aside from the people that live there pay property tax. Additionally, the owners of the park pay the township that we share with the county. But that's just part of and this is a very standard transfer relative to owners.
So does anybody like to make,
This is Bigford. I'll move to adopt as presented.
is there support?
I'll support.
Go ahead.
I have Sir John.
Mhm.
Is there any further? Here,
Yes.
Helmrich, Marcy,
Yes.
Osmond, yes, Aldrich,
yes.
motion carries.
And then I'll be emailing her tomorrow to let her know in Eagle with that.
Thank you.
Perfect. Township manager contract. I'm assuming everybody had a chance to look that over and read it. I didn't get too many questions, but our attorney Bolchi did review it. Some minor adjustments that he had to make were incorporated. So is there any comments or discussion before we proceed? Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
This is Aldrich.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, go
No,
ahead.
go ahead.
I motion to approve the employment agreement for township manager between the Township of Saugatuck and Joe R. Fry that was agreed to by Supervisor Osmond and Clerk Bigford.
This
Is
is
support?
Marcy. I'll second.
Okay, and support. Any further discussion?
I'd just like to say I'm really glad it's completed. Congratulations to Mr. Fry.
Thank you very much.
Welcome.
And I'll say thank you.
Right, we're not done yet.
Not done yet.
Discussion regarding the contract or comments? None. I will call the roll. Aldrich. Marcy.
Yes.
Helmrich.
Yes.
Yes, motion carries.
Thank you, you all. I'm super with you all. I'm looking forward to some fun. And have
Yeah, 3 more years, so.
I liked the clause about 5 years, but okay.
5 years. So thank you.
Congratulations, Joe.
Okay, we have Planning Commission and Zoning Board of Appeals opening. We did receive resignation letter from Bill Rowe, I understand, and he's ready to take the reins there. So we need to extend and direct our main positions that will be available.
In your there.
Oh, there's
This
so
is Paul's resignation from the Township Planning Commission, March 31st, 2021.
This is Marcy.
okay, we have motion and support is
Can I ask a question, Cindy?
yes,
Get on.
I think 13 years.
Wow.
Senior member of Planning Commission.
Okay.
Remember when we reappointed him, what, 2 years ago?
Yes.
I think with, on a moving to Arizona, makes sense.
Yeah.
For him.
For his years of service,
Yeah.
did a
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. I didn't call the roll yet. Aldrich,
Yes.
Bigford, Helmrich,
Yes,
and motion carries. So would anyone like to second motion on this topic?
I'll go.
Oh.
This is Helmut.
Don,
Of a vacancy on the Township Planning Commission ends with closing date of March 31st, 2020. The Township Board will conduct interviews with the April 2021 Township Board meeting.
okay, we have a motion and supportings. Is there any further? Abby, did you? Okay. No, Helmrich,
Yes, ma'am.
yes.
Bigford, Marcy,
Yes.
Osmond, yes. I can see what's not.
Happy to give. I'm actually very happy. On the bank balance still includes the CD 6,000, which will be and bring that bank balance down some. To date, across all funds, we're 3% ahead of budget, and this are 14% below all funds. In the general fund, only 7% ahead of budget, while expense budget. All of these numbers are much due to the increased property tax payments coming in, activity within the general fund. There continue departmental overages for us to discuss, significant revenue lines that are well ahead of the budget thus far fiscal year. These include income from the administration fee that we get. 1% permits are quite higher than we thought. Our annual marijuana permits originally. Also, on a more plot sales are ahead of budget too. All of them between 20 and 28% in their overages. The fiscal state of the township is excellent. On the investment side, we have our Michigan Class account, which is over $1 million. It went up $115 from January 31st. We are about to make a $300 into some mutual fund with DA Davidson, which we approved. Those are going to start happening maybe even by the end of this front. It ended formally, and we had collected 95% of bills. It was quite surprising in the current condition. Only 130 turned over to the county for collection, which is our settlement with the county treasurer. Time for me is set for next Tuesday. I think it will go well, doing cleanup in the next few days. And most of my colleague on the board and our deputy treasurer who did several hours the last couple of weeks in, because most people wait to pay at the last minute. I'd still be bringing in taxes. So tax disbursements, which I used to agree to put that in the consent, moved our winter tax payment number 5 and numbers. And there's probably one more, there might be 2 more before April 1st, just to make sure everything matches. Thank you.
Thank you. That was a great report. Not done. I think the next report is Planning Commission.
We got to change the order of this. My Planning Commission report. All right, the Planning Commission met February 22nd, 2021. There was no public comment up front or at the end. There were 2 special approval use and site plans to be reviewed. The first one is an entity called Big Thump located in an agricultural street. There was much discussion. The history, the state of the current business, the business activities occurring there are allowed zoning or ordinances. And lack of any buffers, physical buffers on the, an attorney spoke on behalf of several neighbors. Planning Commission members asked about the lack of a home business license and the apparent lack of communication from the township government over a 15-year period, all the while in the business. So in the end, the Planning Commission 0-1, there was one abstention, to deny special use for the site plan submitted. The other was for Saugatuck Mini Golf from the Township Hall. After review of the submitted, Planning Commission voted 7-0 to approve golf plan. Then there was an update, internal processes, the process to form the special committees of the Planning Commission. That's moved forward quite a bit since that meeting. As you know, one is actually 2 and 1, but we won't go into those details right now. Members are being selected, and Joe Fry is very diligently with all of us involved on not an online, what do you call it? A software system for us to communicate, so everything is easily tracked by both the manager and we're not relying on like our personal email. Let's see, that was, oh, then there was also, point this out, and I'll share a document through after 2 months of PC approved. This is relative to, and you know, since the Planning Commission met, Eagle public hearing on their request to basically or more the size of the existing pond. Zoning Administrator Wells spent a lot of time draft some groundwater protection abilities that we could put in our ordinance and in future plan approvals to address that. And also it was by another Planning Commission member, and she's incorporating ideas, can we physically limit the size of future? And like I said, I'm going to share that. We were very impressed that the work she's done on the Planning Commission. We'll be discussing that more in the future. Any questions?
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Commission, Marcy, assisted by Fry.
Hi, Joe. Joe, did you get that from Craig today?
I get a chance to review
Okay.
it.
I'll just give a quick summary. He sent out an update of their first round of primary projects. And let's see, opening schedule 4th. And then he asks that need to be replaced prior, might be delayed. So they're moving along.
Thank you. Board, okay.
Updates on the road. We have a we up the road plan. I talked to Dana. He's come with a revised report. I can go over it in a little bit more detail. We did have sometime between the last meeting and now with the road commission, and the road commission gave feedback. I have taken that feedback and are making some so that's why you don't see on it right now, because we got that feedback. Also with NDOT this week on it being reconstructed. So I'll have more information.
Any questions for Joe or Brenda? Okay. Fire board, it's extensive fire board report that in our packet that we already did. Stacy, is there anything you'd like to add to that or go into more detail?
Just a few things from the meeting. There's been 6 new paid on-call staff hired. 5 are certified firefighters. 2 of them are also serving at Hamilton and Grascup. And Chief Janik said that Lake Vista another pallet of bottles, and we unanimously approved the chief's base salary.
Thank you, Stacy. Lake, I think Joe is going.
Yep. Let me just make sure. So with Cal Lake, I was going to mention manager's report. I had a meeting with managers yesterday. As I know in report, we did receive a letter from Eagle. We're able to obtain a 30-day extension. And so what that is please update us on these things to move forward and house is clean and orderly. So that 2-hour meeting went very well as we start to review our the 4 entities can better serve our residents and our customers going forward. To come on that.
Okay, thanks, Joel.
Joe, I have a question. Have you had a chance to talk and or meet the township representatives to Cali yet?
Not yet. I've met, they're all quite very nice gentlemen, so.
He's not our rep, but that's this
I
time.
have just met yeah.
Is there a Parks Commission report?
Oh, if there is Parks Commission report, I skipped.
Yeah. That's okay.
I did not receive one for this packet.
Okay.
Okay. Emergency services, I haven't heard anything. Joe, have you heard anything?
That's with Tony Shippa, correct?
Right.
Yep. I had a meeting the other day. He gave me an update on what's going on, but when he gave me the update, things are going per plan to be coming in the next couple months.
Interurban, I think we had a report. Lori, does somebody have that report?
I do.
Stacy, could you read that, please? It's already quite short.
Yeah, board approved fiscal year 2020 audit, and a copy of the audit is at each municipality. The billboard sign located on Blue Star owned by Joe Malakas will be advertising the interurban. Board approved the proposed 2021 hours. That's it.
Okay, thank you. That is our last committee report. Move on to open budget report. Or open board report, sorry.
It's a Freudian slip.
I will go ahead and start. I have no report to make other than the ORV thing, so I can let the advocate know that what we're going to do. And just appreciative of trying not to overwhelm him, or not on the priority list. Thank you for the negotiation. And Stacy, as always, I really appreciate, John does a great job with the financial reports and keeping us, and Brenda, thank you for helping him with the taxes.
Thank you. Mhm.
Open board report, any comments?
I do have one. A few things that came to my attention this week, and I wanted to talk a little about it. At our special meeting on February 2, a local realtor spoke in public comments about the need to provide access to affordable housing in relation to our strategic planning priorities. And then at the combined planning council meeting, the township board, both Lene Wells and Becky Israel, spoke about the book Strong Towns. Oh, never mind. I have my backdrop. I would recommend that everyone on our board and staff read it. Strong Towns discusses how the original cities were built for walkability, and now they're built. But I do believe, and the tri-community especially, get affordable housing, and I now see huge implications. The constituent loaned me this book. The constituent who loaned it to me called last week to Tri-Community Master Plan. We had a long conversation around one question: is the Master Plan dead in the water? She brought points where she perceived it as not being considered in new building projects. She also asked whether we had a tree or with rules about cutting them down, replacing them. Let's see. She also mentioned that in the annual report, I mean in the tri-community plan, where each planning council is supposed to submit an annual report. I was not aware of that. Today on a different Zoom, totally unrelated, and two about tree ordinances. And what they were talking about was people on the south end of Lakeshore Drive, ordinances about it evidently was digging in the bluff, very dangerous. Another chopped down 5 trees, critical, keeping the houses from falling in. After these discussions, I realized that a tri-community plan, when making these decisions to change or when changing ordinances, and it begs the question, which comes first? And I don't know if anyone here knows this. So we're on the 5th year. Does anyone know, first of all, who does the revisions and when that happens? Cindy? I think you muted.
The Tri-Community Master Plan is reviewed.
Yeah.
And usually updated after another 5 years. Part of the reason for that is the census data has to be incorporated into it. And we don't have that yet. That's not, so expect overall, it will probably to do it because we have to have joint meetings with the tri-communities. And those detail, those provisions, do we have to not? I know the city does have an overlay zone. I think that's along the lake shore. That would be a good place to address digging into the bluff and cutting our, keeping the bluff in place. We just can't do anything until we get all the.
To-
And go ahead, John.
You just said, yes, we have to wait for May or June, 5 or 6 months, former president. But for that, this is all linked together.
Mhm.
And we'll be making recommendations on ordinances or requests for addition with the goal of feeding into the ultimate master plan, which will begin require forming, as we've done in the master plan committee. But board report was all of us, members, citizens, this collecting your own thoughts. You mentioned trees. That's on my list. Tree ordinance. We can make it much stronger that are much stronger than ours. Colleagues on the board to do, we're addressing some already, like support attainable and small list, and either send it to, you can send it to me as your board rep. It shouldn't just come from members of the planning, these new special committees form. A report, zoning administrator did do that and present it to us, happen every year.
Okay, to us?
Good item.
Okay, and would have had to have seen it in the packet.
Yeah.
And John, I just have one more question. Does the into account every time they're looking at something?
You asked me that before, and I think the answer is
Okay.
A couple of things,
Yeah,
Cindy can comment too. These committees, what theirs is to look at our goal, because it's so looking at the last 10 pages, the goals and objectives. The rest is just
Right.
as a board, the revisioning report, and the same concept are now for the town. Do we need to change our ordinance so with outside and commercial corridor as government is to attract people into these issues?
to bring this up tonight, and I'm glad to hear about the book is really good. So basically I'm reading it, and I'm also, so I think everybody on like the book and Lynette, the combined.
to know that 2 months ago, all members of the planning commission to get the book, like X number of chapters to read by, we're not meeting in March. We'll finish the.
And
What was
Strong
strong, not strange.
Strong.
We were
I'd
encouraged,
But
we
I'll
were
reserve.
encouraged to buy it. Low Book Nook of Saugatuck. It's still a purchase price, so
Okay,
go strong chance. And one less heavy lift, but all of our ordinance, and it would be worthwhile to, again, to generate with the planning commission and these new committees looked at in years.
Yeah.
We talked fees last year, so, and then
ah,
I urge you to do that.
And I would just like to add that the author of Strong Towns, a couple of the philosophies of the strong.
Our Facebook account and thing. So,
Did you say?
oh, I have another book.
Oh, you mean you have another copy? Sales, help the author.
I'd like on for his
Because I was going to bring up ordinance review. We've had, and it's probably something that we're going to hear more from Joe. Don't forget, Friday, March 12th, tutors are to complete that survey about 2022 budget planning.
Oh.
Again, it's like with the ordinances. Be specific, you can be broad, but he's got a really early jump on him for, and again, we just need to, whether it ends up happening or not, doesn't matter. We need to.
thank you.
I have a little, we don't want to go this is unbelievable. I can't tell you how many times she had to go to all kinds of places and because she had to really prove that it was dangerous. Ended up costing her about $15,000, but be okay, and then have it removed here.
Well,
So
we're
I
the
do all
opposite
that.
end. All right, whatever you want if it's on your property.
Yeah, that's not good either though. So
So let's go
Sorry.
in order and finish our open board reports. Bigford,
Do you have anything?
okay.
the only thing I wanted to say was I'm kind of a little embarrassed that we passed like we were. I didn't know that, which we found out it was. So hopefully we will keep it future next year. Maybe we can come up with keep it because people definitely use it. Should be opened up. I use it. all of, would you please, can we plow that? Great having it done. Glenn got right on it, and I hope it's just something we do as chair.
Thank you. And open the floor to Mr. Fry for.
Henry, I have just a couple things. I'll be able to answer them. The first thing I want to mention, on Open Meetings Act.
Yep.
I was kind of thinking about it yesterday and today. Probably a good thing to talk about. So the Open Meetings Act last year to allow municipalities to address our act and allowed for the public to go until March 31st. Emergency was extended, and then effective April could only conduct the meetings if they were in the military, had health condition, or local emergency disaster. Last year, the township board did adopt resolution for a local state of emergency, the public meetings in compliance with the on the 2nd, Human Services updated their emergency face mask, and that goes in effective. What it did was relax the restrictions, as you all know, not more than 20 and 300 for people outdoors. Right now, we have a overall for fully vaccinated individuals 0.6%, which is not high. The general consensus is the medical field still recommended highly for people so that we can curb this. I did want to give you kind of a conclusion that going forward, we are still allowed because the township did create that local state, either the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services board rescinds that resolution. So we are still allowed to have Zoom meetings, as this is the board's meeting. There are some options. I did want to choose to go sort of hybrid approach. Is detrimental to the public's ability meetings. And the reason why individuals, it's sometimes hard for people to, if you are all in one room and the technology that we have would be kind of hard to moment. Didn't know if you wanted to continue on Zoom or going in.
Are you asking, Cindy?
Yes.
Are you asking our opinion for right now?
Because we can have the Zoom the agenda if that allows you to have more time to think. I just want to let you know that
My concern with the scientists, and I follow it, really predicting a possible surge and with the surges, they surge, then more variants are born, so to speak. I'm a little concerned. The 25 person capacity, not that we ever have. Tonight, our attendance on Zoom has been great. So that's where I'm at, or we want the April meeting and then give everyone opinions now. That'd be great.
I think the problem with the hybrid was not the sound quality ending the meeting. It was the sound quality to hear, and it would break up.
Yeah.
While at City Hall with our board of review, and but the way to that would be if you could stream your meeting, allow people to come into the building to park, and the option to still or Zoom in or electronically rather than that way. There would still be a building if we're limited to 25. I also that there may be on our legislatures to expect suspension. I haven't much about that. Back to transparency, although transparent. So call that special emergency of emergency. And I really, if there wasn't a good reason, not that it's a good reason, it really is a good reason to document that.
just to, the declaration of emergency to our attorney on this, as the board has active until the township or the state removes the all state meeting.
So we are in a state of emergency.
Correct. So there wouldn't need to be any declaration, already done it. And so we can have, going forward, we are covered on that.
Okay.
Is still in place, and my feeling right now is I wouldn't be comfortable having an in-person meeting until I knew that all staff and board members present had been vaccinated. Saturday, I said to Joe, Saturday just passed, I got my first one. And that was the highest state in across the country of vaccinations. So we're going in the right direction. Thursday, Allegan County Health Department at Saugatuck High School. You have to come at the end of the day. And they're giving, so the activity, even in our county, and as I said, I think we all need to go public, go open rather.
I miss her, but I'm totally vaccinated. We should keep doing what we're doing. I don't know, Abby's pretty young. I don't, and Joe too. So I think it's gonna be,
They'll get it by May.
yes.
So
Abby.
Abby has a comment. Abby, you have the
It
floor.
sounds like people are supporting the idea of Zoom possibly taking formal action.
That, so we'll put it on the agenda for
Okay.
Sounds good.
Highlights in the manager's report.
important one for the board. Just for our policies for able to put out services for consultant work. So I'll for the building services and the architecture. For our bills back, I'll be bringing those to the view and then hopefully a recommendation and a word on those. So we have one road just similar to the cemetery is ready to go. One will be expiring this year. The road plan, which we'll be looking at, recommended the was here about trying to get it on the that due to the board would have to approve all this late in the April meeting to get it on that ballot. Waiting for later for this language to be on the board can have some more time to view how we fund our roads, going to make sure the public is aware of what rush it through. And if you had any comments on that. Everyone's fine with and then last comment, the trail committee engineers, me and the other managers will be working for the interlocal agreement. The committee has decided that they want to due to some grant funding meet a deadline, so they're trying to do two things in a throw. So I just want, so hopefully that will be coming to in government.
The committee to elected to, we're going to interview two for vision on Friday.
That's it. Any questions for me on?
Okay, thank you, Joe. We'll move on to Daniel, you have the floor.
6122 Old Allegan Road, Saugatuck. I wanted to thank everybody for your committee. Means a lot to us, and I would encourage you to go through that Garnet had put together for you, going in all that we're doing. You to approve our budget requests, trying not to spend money, and we do think we're going to get a lot of bang. I wanted to point out that a household hazard very much so aligns with, so that's definitely in alignment with what was recently approved by the board. That out. And secondly, looking into the possible recycling section on the both the cities of Saugatuck and other websites with implementing actually the tri-community that content for them. And we have Saugatuck Township already specific to our community, looking into them. And if they were to do that, you're of content available to kind of, so that is all.
Is there any other members of the public that would like to make anyone comment? And we'll close. Is there anyone that would like to make a motion?
This is Marcy. I will motion to, what is today, March 10th, 7:45.
Second?
This is Aldrich.
Okay, is there any discussion?
Yes.
Aldrich,
Yes.
Yes.
Osmond, we are adjourned. Thank you guys. It was
Thank you.
very good.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good.
Thank you.
Bye.